Guys, it's Eagle Shadow yet again, and I'm going to bring you a units overview tutorial today. So I'm going to show you an overview of all the units and some possibilities of how they can be used in-game. So I'm going to be using the hangar, where you can choose your units and select them to be in your loadout. So I'm going to start at the top and move from there. So on the first page here is all your infantry, and so infantry are used to capture outposts. So when an outpost is neutralized, they walk in and fill up the bulbs so you can capture the outpost. So we've got here, over here is a runner, so they move quickly but don't have as much damage or armor, so they killed more quickly but move faster. And then a skeleton runner is just a skin variation of a runner. They do the same thing, it's just a Halloween exclusive. And then here we have sergeant. So sergeant, if you place it down, any infantry around it will stop what they're doing and follow him, so he can be given orders. And so like you can capture outposts, so you can link up to 3 other infantry with him and they will follow him around to wherever he is going. Jumpers, they jump up, they're like rockets, so they use their rocket launcher to shoot a rocket at the ground, and then they can jump up and avoid fire for a few seconds. So they're great to not die while you're trying to neutralize an outpost. Shooters shoot long distance, so they're kind of like the angel mech of infantry, so they shoot out of range of other units, and they take a while for their guns to set up, but they won't die as long as they are out of range of other units. So they don't do a lot of damage, but clumped up together they can quickly take out a clump of units from long range. Mortys just shoot rocket, they shoot a grenade launcher, so they're kind of like jumpers except with a grenade launcher. Flamers, so they're really good at neutralizing outposts. They have a flamethrower, and then so it doesn't actually catch things on fire, but it does damage them with the flame. So they do have a very short range, but they do a lot of DPS. Brutes are the like Goliaths of infantry. They require a tech pod to build and move very slowly, but can shoot ground and air and have super high DPS. They have a really slow turn rate, but they kill stuff very quickly, obviously. And then right here we have assassins. So they're the Neo of infantry. So they can cloak, and they only have melee. They don't have guns, but they can cloak and get up real close to a unit and then strike and kill it before it can respawn. So those are kind of cool. And then here we have Necros. So Necros are really cool. What they do is they walk up to the rubble of dead units, and then they start rebuilding it. So they necro it, and so after a while they can rebuild the unit to like half health. So like if one of your Goliaths dies and you have some Necros, you just place them where the Goliath died and they will start healing the salvage, and then the Goliath will be rebuilt eventually. So those are kind of cool. And then probes move super quick. They don't have any guns, however, so if you have a neutral outpost and you just really want to get control of it to pull out some units, they can zoom into that outpost before any other infantry, but they do die super quick. Alien probe is just the Alienware special for regular probes. A boomer, they what they do, they run up to enemy units and then they take a few seconds, and they're like suicide bombers. So when they get close to a unit, they go off, and then so after a few seconds they explode and kill everything around it. So they're basically suicide bombers, so they're good for killing large clumps of units, and it's really hard to shoot them before they explode. And then ultimate boomers are just an ultimate version of that you can buy for diamonds to play in ultimate games. They're not for PvP. Creeper is just a reskin of boomer for the Minecraft, so it's the Minecraft creeper. SAM is a heavy-duty infantry. They shoot rockets, and they're good at killing other infantry. They do cost a lot, however. And then this is a Hyper SAM. It's just a variation of the regular SAM. So there's lots of variations of units that I'll go into in different tutorials. I'll do the alternates of units. And then Fixer, so kind of like the Necro, it'll go up to things, and it's kind of the Osprey of infantry, so it'll go up to the rubble of dead units, enemy or friendly, and then it will heal that and salvage some credits, so you can get back a certain amount of credits if it dies. So if a unit dies and you place some Fixers around the rubble, they can get you some credits back that you use to buy that. And then Hyper Fixer is just an alternate of the Fixer. Alright, so now we're going to move on to like the trucks and light units. So the first one is the Zipper. It's kind of like a tiny car. It moves super fast and it doesn't weigh much, but it does die quickly. And sometimes, so it's good at neutralizing outposts or like killing moneymakers or whatever. And sometimes if it dies, it'll spawn a runner after its death because it's like in a little car, so the runner's like in the car. And then a Tango is just like two zippers in one. They do like heavier damage and don't move quite as quickly, and they can sometimes, when it dies, they can spawn two runners, so that's kind of cool. And then Jackal, it's a very it's like a very well used truck, so it moves quickly, it neutralizes outposts quickly. It's kind of the all-around truck for neutralizing, killing, harassing, distracting, whatever you want a truck to do, this can do it. Now moving on to tanks, so a Fine Longhorn is a variation of the Longhorn, which I have over here. And so Longhorn is just your general tank, it's in the default loadout. So it's a versatile tank. It can do pretty much anything you want it to do. Defend, attack, harass, whatever you want to do, this is the unit you can do it with. So it's just the perfect all-around unit. It doesn't really specialize in anything, but it's good at everything. Back over here we have Gemini. So it's kind of like a Longhorn, except it has two barrels. So it shoots twice as quickly, but doesn't do as much damage, obviously. So it's better for killing later units like trucks or infantry. Longhorns are better for killing other tanks. And then here's a variation of the Longhorn. And then we move on to the Devastator. Now I made a separate video on the Devastator, but it is basically a super unit, and it costs a ton of money to build and takes a ton of time, but it can pretty much kill anything very quickly. Alright, on to the next page. Armadillos, also known as Dillos, so they're the quick-moving tanks. They're kind of in between a truck and a tank unit. They're good at killing tanks, they're good at killing infantry, they're good at killing trucks, they're good at killing moneymakers, they're good at killing bases. They don't cost as much, they don't do as much damage, but they're better for spamming out tanks. Hyper Armadillo is an alternate of the Dillo. Goliath is kind of the super Longhorn, so it's a endgame unit. It requires Tech Pod 1 to build. It does a lot of damage per second, but it doesn't shoot very quickly. It turns very slowly, so if it's by itself, an Airmech could kill it easily. But if you're sending a final push, this is the perfect tank to do it with. Grinders, they do melee damage, so similar to boomers, when they see an enemy unit they want to kill, they speed up and go towards it, kind of like a bull. It's kind of like a bull, so it's got this grinder thing where it just chews up anything in front of it very quickly, and it does have reduced damage in the front, I believe. Maybe it doesn't anymore, but so it can kill units quickly, and so it's good for destroying people who are turtling up around their outposts. So if you get a few of these together, you can kill them quickly. Alright, so Rebel tanks, also known as Rebels, they're kind of like Jackals, but a little lighter, so they basically do the same thing as Jackals. They're just a truck unit. There's lots of variations of the Rebels. And then moving on to the Buster. So the Buster, it's a tank, it shoots long range, It rotates very slowly, so it's not good at killing mechs at all. It is super good at killing tanks though, because it takes reduced damage in the front. So like one-on-one, if two tanks are facing each other, the Buster will always win because it takes reduced damage and does a lot of damage. However, it does cost a lot to build. So if you have a lot of anti-air and healing units with it, it's great for winning mid-battles or pushing up on someone's outpost. So it's just basically a tank killer. Sonya. So Sonya is the counter to artillery. If artillery are shooting at your outpost and your units, you can put out a Sonya. It's a heavy-duty jammer, so it jams up the artillery radar, so the artillery can't focus on a unit to attack, so the artillery will shoot astray. So it doesn't do anything besides jam up artillery's accuracy. A roller is kind of like a grinder, except it's more for just pushing units. It's like a beefier, it doesn't do as much damage. It can roll over mines, however, so the mines won't explode. It diffuses the mines. Also, side note, fixers can diffuse mines as well because they can heal them away just like an Osprey can. So roller does that. They're good at pushing into enemy defenses, but don't do quite as much damage as a grinder would. So a jammer, it's kind of like the truck of a Sonya. It does the same thing, but it just doesn't cost as much and doesn't have as big a range where it jams up the radar. So it's good if you don't have a lot of credits and you need to quickly stop some artillery. Sonya is kind of like the tankier version of it, so it doesn't die as quickly and it has a bigger range. So that's the jammer in Sonya. Gunner Z is just a reskin for diamonds of the Jackal. Patcher is the truck of the support units, so it moves quickly as fast as a truck does. It doesn't heal as fast as other support units, but it does move quicker and can be spammed easier if you don't have a lot of credits. So it just heals units without you having to pick them up and go over your outpost. Heavy Ratchet, it's like a ratchet, which I have over here. So ratchets are they are a support unit, they're tankier, they don't die as quickly, they don't move as quickly, but they have a faster rate of heal and do cost a little bit more than a Patcher. Heavy Ratchet is just an alternate of the Ratchet. Hunter's Seeker is an alternate of the Seeker I have over here. Seekers are the main anti-air unit. They shoot rockets, they only shoot in the air at Airmech, so their only purpose is to kill Airmechs. So if an Airmech is flying in its radius, it will shoot rockets at it to hopefully kill it. So it just defends your outposts, your sockets, and your tanks from mechs. Alright, boxers. So with all the infantry in the game, you can put infantry up to 3, I believe, into a boxer. And so boxers are like super tanky, they don't do very much damage, but they can move. So if you put 3 of your infantry in a boxer and you send the boxer to an enemy outpost, when that boxer dies, the 3 infantry come out, and then so they continue neutralizing the outpost, or hopefully the outpost is already neutralized so they can just quickly run in. So it's kind of like a defense tank, it's like the Trojan horse, so the infantry just pop out when it dies. Buckies, they shoot very long range. They're kind of a truck, but they have high DPS and high range, but very low armor, so they die quickly to tanks and mechs, but they do a lot of damage to outposts or mechs or tanks, and they can shoot in the air as well. And then so there's 2 alternates, 3 of the Bucky. This is like a summer exclusive, it's like an ice cream truck. Alright, moving on to Flacker. So Flacker is like it's a truck for anti-air, and it shoots bullets rather than rockets like the Seeker does, so it doesn't cost as much as the Seeker. It shoots bullets, so it shoots Airmechs instantly. Doesn't have a great range, a radius. It does shoot only air, so it's just a truck of anti-air. And then there's an alternate, Ultimate Bucky. You can buy it for diamonds, and you can only use it in Ultimate games, so it's just like a super Bucky. P99 is the main turret unit type. So it shoots into the. It has rockets that shoot in the air and bullets that shoot on the ground. So it can't shoot bullets while shooting rockets, but it can do one or the other. So if an Airmech is in the area, it will only shoot rockets. If an Airmech isn't in the area, it'll shoot bullets at other tanks and units. It is stationary and can be placed on pads to have a automatic regen and attack and armor buff. So it's just the main turret. It's a more expensive, more durable, beefier one of the T-45. So it's a turret. Alright, halfway there. Grinder is also Gaddy, is also a turret. It shoots. It's good. It shoots super fast. It has a great rate of fire and turn rate. It doesn't kill tanks very well, but it does kill infantry and light units super quickly. It can also be placed on pads and does not move. So moving on to the hat. The hat is like it's the turret type of the anti-air units, so it can't move. It shoots bullets and it costs a lot, but it has more armor and does a lot of damage. And then here we have the Aegis or Aegis. I don't know how to say it. No one does. So what it does is if you place it, if you have someone who's spamming a lot of seekers or turrets that shoot a lot of rockets at you and you want to kill those rockets, Aegis kill those rockets for you. So they have lasers that shoot rockets out of the sky. They don't shoot tanks or airmechs, they only shoot rockets, so they're a very specialized unit, but they can save your day because outposts have limited energy, so if you keep hovering over your outpost and rockets hit you afterwards, those rockets will drain your outpost energy quickly because you're taking damage, so the outpost has to heal you. So if you put some Aegis out, they'll kill the rockets before they get to you at your outpost, so they can kill those rockets and help keep your outpost energy up. Alright, turtles. So turtles, they move super slow like a turtle, and they curl up in a ball like a turtle when they are attacked. So if anything shoots it, it'll just curl up in a ball and takes a lot more reduced damage. So it'll move, but once it gets attacked, it'll curl up into a ball and take reduced damage, like I said. So it doesn't die very quickly, but it also doesn't move very quickly. So it's good to place it in front of your tanks at your front lines, so they'll tank the damage while your tanks shoot them behind your turtles. Alright, now we're on to the artillery. So artillery all just shoot long range. They have a range indicator that you can see in game if you place them down, and so they're just good for neutralizing outposts long range or killing long range units. Arty, does the most damage. It also has the shortest range, so that's like a variant. And then there's a variant of the Arty too. Archie shoots longer range, doesn't have quite as much damage, but it does more specialized, so it's more of a sniper. Arty, it does more splash damage, so it kills lots of it damages lots of units around it, while Archie will more focus on one unit and kill that one at a time. And then there's a variant of the Archie as well. And then we have the Bertha. So Bertha takes a tech pod to build. It has very long range, it costs a lot of money, and it does a lot of damage, so it's like the end game artillery, similar to a Goliath for tanks. Alright, sentry turret is the steam turret. It's kind of like a Gaddy, but it's weak, so it dies very quickly to anything, but it's great at neutralizing outposts and doesn't get distracted. So it's got like a range indicator similar to artillery, but it's focused like right in front of it, so it doesn't turn at all, not unlike other turrets. So it's good if you just want to neutralize an outpost or just want to kill that moneymaker because it doesn't get distracted. And it's also very spammable because they don't weigh a lot or cost a lot. Alright, so now we're on to Saki units. Lunchboxes, they create an aura of defense around your outposts or bases, so like your infantry in your outpost will last longer if a lunchbox is on the socket attached to the outpost, or if it's on a base, it'll give you a certain amount of HP that has to be destroyed before your base actually takes damage, and then armor is regenerated if a enemy tank isn't shooting at your base, so it's good for that. Honeypots, they are the turrets of support units. They don't move, they can be used on sockets, they have a large range, so they can heal a lot if they're on a socket, and yeah, that's that. So they're they can take a lot of damage, they heal very quickly, but don't move. And then there's a variant of that. Alright, Moneymaker is the most important unit you could have in the game. It generates credits for you constantly as long as they're on sockets, and so you just want to have those so you can they make credits so you can build units. Levelers, they increase the amount of XP you get from doing stuff like killing enemies or killing enemy units. So, like, the more levelers you have, they just give XP over time so you can level up faster and get more abilities. They only work on sockets, however. Generators, they work on sockets and increase your unit cap. So if you're unit capped, you need to replace your moneymakers with generators. So they give 4 or 5 unit slots, I believe. So if you're unit capped, you build some generators, you can build some more units. Alright, now we're on to like the lock box, safe box, and vault box. So these are kind of crazy. What they do is, this one costs 5,000 credits, this one costs 10,000, and this one costs 20,000. So they're very tanky. They don't move, they don't shoot anything. They can take a lot of damage. They do get regenerated if they're on sockets, but they don't need to be on sockets. And what they do is, say you need your teammate needs 5 or 10,000 credits, and you happen to have like 20,000 credits and a safe box in your loadout. If you build this and place it down, and then your teammate can pick it up and sell it over an outpost, you can basically transfer credits over there. They used to amass attacks of credits over time. I don't think they do that anymore. So like, if you placed it on the field at the beginning of the game and sold it at the end of the game, you'd get a lot more money than you originally spent on it. But I don't believe they accumulate tax over time anymore. That could be changed again, however. So that's what those 3 do. Bot spawners, they only work on sockets. A lot of people think they work elsewhere, but no, it's only sockets, so it's kind of a bummer. But what they do is every few seconds or so, they will produce a creep, so an infantry that can walk along with the infantry that come out of your base regularly. So it just increases your creeps, so they come out, the bot spawner spawns a bot, basically, every few seconds, and I believe the infantry is the same as the creep wave level in game. So like, if it's a high level creep, then high level creeps will spawn out of the bot spawners. Boosters go on your mech, so they're a disposable unit. So you build one, it goes on your mech. They drain energy from your mech quickly, but they do allow you to have an increased speed in the air, as well as an increased carry capacity. So like, if you have one of these and you could only carry 1 tank at a time, maybe it'll increase it enough for you to carry 2 tanks. So those are the 2 main uses for it, for increasing your carry capacity and carry speed while you're moving, and also increasing your airspeed. You have to be really careful about your fuel efficiency though, because if you run out of fuel while you have a booster, it'll just go off, and they do cost 3,000 credits to build, so that is a lot to waste if you run out of energy. And then this is the Liberty booster, so it does the same thing. Bomb is a disposable unit as well. So they shockingly bomb the enemy units. So you can pick up 2 or 3 or 4 depending on your carry capacity, and so you pick them up with space and then drop them with space over enemy units, and so then they'll damage the units around the place where they landed. So they're good for breaking artillery and turtle outposts. And then there's 2 variations. Alright, last bit, we're on to mines. So what mines do, there's a heavy and a light mine. Heavy mines, they take longer to they deploy and be activated. So like if someone runs across it quickly, like a fast infantry or a mech, it'll explode later because it's heavier. While light mines are good at killing light units, heavy mines are good at killing heavy units. So if you see a giant tank push coming to your base, you want to build some mines and place it in the path where they will go as they are coming toward your outpost, and the mines will explode and hopefully kill that line of enemy units. Stasis mines sort of do the same thing, except they just slow down the units rather than killing them. So like the Neo Stasis Blast, this stasis mine just does it so any mechs or units that walk on these mines or ride over them will be slow, and mechs cannot transform while they're stasis. And then bear traps. If an infantry walks over a bear trap, it will get caught, and the bear trap will slowly kill it unless the bear trap is defused by a fixer or a patcher or Osprey, which can defuse any mines as well as bear traps. Last unit is FF2000, also known as the Hump Bot. It's a melee infantry that is very derpy. It has horrible stats. It's just a fun unit. It's part of the PAX Penny Arcade exclusive. So it's just a fun unit to have if you want to play with some friends. And then, obviously, last unit in the game is No Unit. Most OP unit there is. Alright, so that is an overview of pretty much every unit in the game. I believe I own them all. So I hope you liked it. I hope you learned something. And so feel free to experiment with all of these units, and I hope if you were trying to decide which unit to build, this tutorial helped you decide that so you didn't have to waste your credits on useless units. So thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like, subscribe, and refer me in-game if you're new, and watch my other tutorials and commentaries, and download this awesome game of Airmech. Thanks, and see you later.